Hey, what's up, movers? I'm Coach Hal. Today we're going to be covering unassisted rockers. So we're taking rockers, we're elevating it again a little bit here, just trying to spice things up, find different variations that are going to help us incorporate our movements into forward locomotive movement. So let's get right into it. I've got a yoga mat, a tool, an assistance for elevating. So whether that be a bench, a couch, a chair, a wall, whatever you've got, go ahead and get it in front of you. You're going to want to utilize this elevation tool for unassisted rockers. You can do it strictly just off the floor, off of all fours, but I do really recommend using an elevated surface. It's really going to help us find that engagement in the backside and do these unassisted rockers to our best ability. So go ahead and move with me if you can. So let's go ahead and get ourselves into a position here, ready for rockers, all fours. For the unassisted rocker, I would really advise that we go ahead and start working with feet, top of the foot into the floor. If you've been doing rockers with me previously and you've really liked toes tucked, that's awesome. I'm not saying that you can't do toes tucked for unassisted rockers, you most certainly can, but what I would like to involve more into the unassisted rocker is the driving through the leg and the foot into the floor. This is going to give us ankle mobility. It's really going to try and help open up that ankle as well as just engage a lot of the outside muscle groups in the calf, hamstring and glute area that we're looking to get into. So the more we can pressurize through the floor, pushing down, the more we're going to engage the muscle groups that we're looking for and find new feelings and new space in our bodies. So let's go ahead and get started. All fours positions, top of the feet into the ground. When we're bringing top of the feet into the ground, I'd like to emphasize that we're still keeping our inside ankle bone high. We are trying to keep this ankle bone high to the sky as possible. So our heels are going to be going away as our toes come in. And I am actively trying to bring my toes into my butt. So I'm trying to fill in this gap here with my toes while at the same time driving the feet into the floor. So whatever makes this easiest for you to do, if you want to think about that ankle driving high, that can be a really good cue. If you want to pull the toes in, pull the toes into your body, that's a great cue. Or you can even just think about taking the top of the shin bone, driving that into the floor, or taking the tops of the feet and driving them into the floor. So when we get set up here in our position, hands on the wall or whatever elevated surface you have, let's go ahead and just start with that force of feet driving to the ground. Outside of the shin bone is driving to the floor, and we're trying to separate the floor as if we had a piece of paper underneath us and we're trying to rip it apart. That's what we're going to be doing with our activation into our lower body right now. I'm also going to try and push my knees into the floor, so taking this long thigh bone and driving into the floor while at the same time driving wide, taking my feet, pulling my toes in, driving the top of the foot into the floor, and now I'm really engaged. Last thing I'm going to focus on here is taking my hips and spreading my hips wide. So I want to feel my hips spread wide and my spine kind of fill in the gap that my hips open up with. So with all of this going on, I'm just going to get into very slight rockers here, really focusing on pressurizing everything outside, opening everything up, creating space in my hips for myself to rock back. And after I get in a couple of these and really find my engagement in my outside, glutes, hamstrings, you know, your feet might be lighting up by now, calves lighting up as well. Let's just hold that pressure and use this time to make these good changes. So once I get into these rocks and I really feel this pressure, we're simply going to take one hand, pull it back. We're going to cup our pec or hold our rib cage here right by our sternum. And then we're going to slowly stand ourselves up a little bit taller, making sure we're holding engagement in the backside. Staying taller, taller. Chest is up, sternum's up, eyes up. And now bring the last hand here. And now we have our unassisted rockers. The most important part here is just making sure that I had pressure the whole time. I never want to lose pressure as I take my hands away from my assistance. We want to, if we're taking our hands away and we're losing pressure, we want to come back to our assisted object, find the pressure again, and then we can remove hands. And from here, you can go a little bit deeper, you can play side to side, you can really do whatever feels best. These unassisted rockers are really gonna light things up, turn on our feet and our calves a little bit more, really help us open up and engage the backside without having assistance in front of us or beneath us. So give this a go. I hope it helps elevate your rocker game a little bit more. I appreciate your time. Get to it, stay blessed.